Victoria, thanks. New at 5, a prisoner convicted of a fatal hate crime at Green Bay Correctional Institution is now appealing that conviction. Jackson Vogel filed a notice of appeal today, challenging last year's first-degree intentional homicide conviction. As we previously reported, Vogel attacked and killed his cellmate, Michael Laureano, in August of 2024. Vogel attacked Laureano because of his race and sexual orientation. Vogel was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole on top of his previous prison sentence for attempted homicide in a separate case.